Yes, so let's talk about 4 lessons that I learned about sales in the gym. Good evening, everybody. 4 lessons I learned about sales in the gym. You will learn these lessons without even paying money to go to a gym or paying a coach. You're going to learn some very good lessons here today. So I returned back to the gym. Yay! I'm back to the gym. So for those of you who try to go to the gym, you stop. You try to go to your workout, you stop. I got ya. I'm in that WhatsApp group. Okay. But there's no day I don't work out. Oh. But going to the gym, there's just something about going to the gym. All right. So I want to share with you my experience and how I transferred some of those lessons into sales. So let's get into it. The first lesson I learned about sales by going to the gym is the power of a dashboard. Now, typically, when I go into the gym, I typically hit the treadmill first. I get on the treadmill and immediately I start riding the bike. I start riding the treadmill. And I go boom, 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 boom. I like the treadmill a lot because it makes me breathe. It helps my breathing, and then I can listen to a podcast or typically listen to a very great song as I do that. That's why I get on a treadmill. But like every modern treadmill, there is a dashboard. It shows you the number of kilometers that you have covered, the calories that you have burned, and your speed and the pacing. There's something about the dashboard. Let's say you make up your mind that you want to do, if I make up my mind that I want to do maybe 15 or let's say I want to do 20 minutes on the dashboard. If I've done 15 minutes and I'm about to quit, just stop the dashboard and go and do another form of exercise in the gym. Because I can see on the dashboard that I have 5 minutes left. What that does for me, that it keeps me on the dashboard. I just stay there and I ensure that I complete the session. There is a thrill and there is a happiness when you hit that 20 minutes and then you see on the dashboard the words session complete. It's such a beautiful feeling. It gives you the feeling of accomplishment, that you have accomplished something. So the question I want to ask you is, do you have a dashboard in your own business, in your sales? So let's say you put on the dashboard that you're going to send 5 emails today, 5 sales calls today, 5 activities today. If you have a dashboard that tracks your activities, if you have not hit that target, you would not want to stop. That is the power of a dashboard. So I went to a client's office today that I'm doing some consulting for, and I saw the dashboard in an Excel sheet. That the leads come in, they call the leads, there's notes around the leads, but most salespeople don't have a dashboard. So I want to ask you a question right now. Do you have a dashboard that shows you the state of your activities? Like how many calls did you make today? How many Instagram live did you do today? A dashboard is very, very important because it states the activities. It keeps you accountable. The second thing I learned in the gym, and that you can apply to sales, is the power of incremental progress. The power of small progress that you build on. So let me give you an example of what I mean by that. So typically when I go to the gym, I started by curling 10 kgs. I would curl a 10 kg easily. And then from 10 kg, I moved on to 15 kgs. I curl a 15 kg in a dumbbell. From 15 kg, I moved on to 20 kg. So I curl a 20 kg easily like this. Yesterday in the gym, I curled a 30 kg dumbbell. I coiled a 30 kg dumbbell. And on the chest, you know that thing that you push to work on your chest, I used to push only 10 kg. And I can tell you that yesterday I pushed a 15 kg on the chest. And I did on my leg work at first. I started with just 10 kg on my leg work. Yesterday on the leg work, I did 20 kg on the leg work, working on my legs. Now that progress is consistent and incremental. I hope you're enjoying this. Before I go ahead, this episode of the Paul Foh podcast was powered by my next webinar that is coming up. It's called How to Achieve Your Sales Targets in 60 Days or Less. I will be doing that webinar with Dr. Olaide. Dr. Olaide is a real estate entrepreneur who has made over 50 billion naira in real estate transactions. I will be doing that training with Dr. Olaide. It's 2 days. It's from the 17th to the 18th of May 2024. Registration fee for that class is 150,000 naira or $95. To register for that webinar, click on the link on my Instagram bio. If you are watching this on YouTube, the link is going to be on the show notes. If you are listening to this on any podcast platform, the link is also going to be on the show notes. Now, if you do not have the complete money, all right, if you don't have the complete money to pay for the class, you can pay for the class in installments. You can pay for the class in installments. So it's 150,000. You can pay in 3 installments and register for that webinar. How many of you like to register for that webinar that I'll be doing with Dr. Olaide? Say I. So the link is in the bio, and let's get on with the class. Let's get on with the podcast episode. So it's incremental progress, tiny little progress. James Clear calls it atomic habits. The third thing that I learned by going to the gym that you can translate to sales is the power of imitation. That's very, very interesting. The power of imitation. You see, when I go to the gym, right, and I see younger men, I'm in my 40s, I see men who are in their 30s, in their 20s, they are very bulky. They have big arms, big chest, big shoulders, big body. All right? They come to the gym, they're very, very big. When I look at how big they are, I am inspired. And then I say to myself, can I ever be this big? You know, in comparison with these guys, they're way younger than me. I'm in my 40s. These guys are in their 20s. What am I going to do? But by just looking at them, it inspires me. It inspires me to say, you know what? I may not be as big as them, but my body will be a body that when I take off my shirt, I'm comfortable with myself. So the lesson there is you need to do a bit of imitation before you get your own innovation. There is something I currently do right now, right? I do what they call copy work. So any writer that I like, I see a lot of books here, I'm a writer, or any writer on the internet that I like, I get their writing or their book and I copy their book by hand. Look at this. I've done some copy work today, right? Any writer that I like, I get their writing, get their book, I get my pen, I set my timer for 16 minutes. You can see that I've done 16 minutes today. I do it every morning now, every day, 16 minutes. I set my timer for 16 minutes, right? Like this. It starts working and I copy by hand what that person has written. See, the timer started. I copy by hand what that person has written. What that does for you is that you are training your brain to learn how to write as clearly as that person that you admire. If you think about it, every great musician, what helped them to learn how to sing is that they copied other musicians that they liked. Do you know that the Beatles, that big band, was once a cover band? Do you know that the Beatles were a cover band? A cover band basically means you are singing somebody else's song. Great. So in sales as well, you can learn how to sell by copying another person who is selling so well. Maybe you bought something from somebody and you like the sales letter that led you to buy it. Bring out a pen, copy it with your hand in your own journal. Practice writing like that. Practice writing like that. And before you know, you will start thinking as clearly as that person. When you think as clearly as that person, you will write as clearly as that person. Did you get that now? This is very powerful. Try it. It's very, very, very powerful. I do copy work every single day now, and it has improved on my writing. To show you how powerful it has improved on my writing, I wrote an article for my newsletter on Sunday, right? The headline was so good. When I finished writing the headline, when I finished writing the newsletter, I write letters on Sundays or Mondays. I went to a grocery store to buy some food for my family. As I was walking back from the grocery store, I prayed a little prayer like a little boy. I said, God, I just sent out this email now to about 14,000 people who read my email every single time. I said, the offer I made, even if it's only one person that buys this product, I will be very happy because it validated this writing that I put my heart inside. Guess what? Before yesterday finished, I got over 2 sales. The thing that's produced sales, different sales. I felt validated. I felt happy. You know why? My time of 15 minutes of learning how to write like my favorite writers is not in vain. It is clear that my writing skills is getting better. Now, writing skills are important because it is a skill that you can scale. You see, you cannot scale knocking on people's door to buy your products and services. It is good. You can't. How many doors can you knock in a day? Think about it. How many doors can you, before you're burnt out? How many doors can you knock in a day? How many sales calls can you make in a day before you are burnt out? How many sales calls can you make in a day? However, if you can write very, very well, your email or your newsletter or your post can meet 30,000 people at the same time. True or false? So if your stuff reaches 30,000 people or 300,000 people at the same time, the conversion rate is higher because you can scale that. Let me ask you a question. If you have a million people following you on Instagram and you write something about your product and your service, and you write it so well, of that 1 million people, you reckon that about 100 of them can buy your product. Yes, you reckon that about 100,000 of them can buy your product, which is 10% of that. If 100,000 people buy your product, that is you can make $100,000. You can actually make Mr. Tolu, good evening. You can actually make $100,000 because writing is a skill that you can scale. You can scale your writing skills, but you cannot scale the skill of knocking on people's doors. Did you understand what I mean? Let me give you an example. I am currently consulting for a company here in the UK. They're a technology company. And the product that they sell, they knock on people's door to sell that product. To understand the product, I follow their salespeople to the field to knock on people's doors. I don't like dogs. So, most of the houses in the UK, they have dogs. All right? The last one I went, I knocked over 35 doors. Knocked on doors. Yeah, I made one or 2 sales. But as I was going home, I said to myself, this is good. But you see, you can't scale knocking on doors. What you can scale is if you do a great video, instead of 35 doors, 35,000 people watch that video, you may sell to 3,000 people. So why don't you learn a skill that you can scale, not a skill that you cannot scale? I don't know if I'm making sense to anybody here this evening. All right. That was the third thing that I learned in the gym. The fourth and the final thing that I learned in the gym was the power of coaching. So I got a coach to work with me in the gym. And I was working with this coach one day. And I felt tired. I wanted to quit. And there is something the coach said to me that was very, very powerful. The coach said something to me. He said, Paul, if you quit now, it is really how you do one thing, it's how you do everything. If you quit before the end of our session, that means that when you start things, you will also quit. I stayed there. Just that statement alone shifted my behavior, because I got a coach that gave me a different perspective or a different mindset. Did you get that? So having a coach is very, very, very valuable, because they question your beliefs, they challenge you to think bigger. I hope this class was useful to you. Again, I have a training coming up on the 17th on the 8th to the 18th of May. 2 days, called How to Achieve Your Sales Target. Let me coach you like they coach me in the gym. I'm doing it with a very good friend of mine and a client of mine. His name is Dr. Olaide. He's a medical doctor turned real estate agent. Dr. Olaide has done over 50 billion naira in real estate transactions. I've been coaching Dr. Olaide for maybe 3 years now. So I said to him that, Dr. Olaide, let us do this webinar together. So that's why it's coming. So you want to learn from a guy who has done over 50 billion naira in real estate transactions. Dr. Olaide is so good. I sold a property 2 weeks ago. I said, Dr. Olaide, you are the real estate guy. I have a property that I want to sell. He told me what to do. I hopped on the phone and I sold that property in 28 hours. I live in the UK, but I sold the property in 28 hours. Because I'm not just a sales teacher. I'm a doer of what I'm teaching. So I sold the property. The client paid. I've never seen that client. I may never see that client again physically. But the client's money is in my pocket. I closed that deal. So if you want me and Dr. Olaide to work with you and teach you how to smash your sales target, we are practitioners of selling. Click on the link on my Instagram bio and sign up for that webinar. Those of you watching this on YouTube, smash the subscribe button. Tell your friends about it. Those of you listening to it on the podcast, you know what to do. Leave a comment. I'm still talking to my Instagrammers. So